It's crunch time
with Ryan Kordziel.
It's crunch time.
What a game! Unbelievable!
This is Kordziel Crunch
With Ryan Kordziel.
Hello and welcome to Kordziel Crunch. The Washington Redskins have had a long, storied history, dating back to the 1930s. The team won 2 NFL championships in the pre-Super Bowl era, but after winning the 1942 NFL championship game, had not won since. That all changed in the early 1980s when the team hired Joe Gibbs as head coach, and by 1982, Washington, led by quarterback Joe Theismann and running back John Riggins, finished the strike-shortened 1982 season with an 8-1 record, their lone loss coming at the hands of the Dallas Cowboys. They breezed through the 16-team playoffs, defeating the Lions, Vikings, and Cowboys by at least 10 points each, en route to Super Bowl 17. The Redskins opened as 3-point underdogs in the game, thanks in large part to the Dolphins' passing game, which was ranked last in the league. But Miami's defense was a powerhouse, recording 12 interceptions over their 3 previous playoff games. Only 10 Redskins players had any previous playoff experience, and 14 were signed as undrafted free agents. The Dolphins scored early in the first quarter, with 8 minutes and 39 seconds left, on 2nd and 6 at their own 24-yard line. Quarterback David Woodley froze defensive end Dexter Manley with a pump fake before throwing to wide receiver Jimmy Cefalo at the 45-yard line, and Cefalo ran it all the way back for a 76-yard touchdown, giving Miami a 7-0 lead.
That's Hardy in motion. And wide open is Cefalo at the 50, could go all the way, 40, 25, 15, and Miami has a touchdown. Cleared that Woodley was going to throw a short screen to the tight end.
The Redskins tried using the ground game early on, but on their next possession, running back John Riggins got just 9 yards before Joe Theismann was sacked to end any threat of Washington retaliating.
Rushed for over 100 yards in each of the 3 playoff games. Theismann on that controlled roll, but he's in trouble. Gets to the 30 and then is tripped up.
At their own 38, Miami used their rushing attack to get to midfield, then sent running back Andre Franklin out, and he got 13 yards on 2 plays, breaking into Redskins territory. But on the next play, Woodley was hit hard by Dexter Manley and fumbled, which was recovered by Dave Butts for a 17-yard loss.
He's a blocking back at Nebraska primarily on 2nd and 1. Woodley. Fumble! Redskins have a shot at it. If it stays in bounds, did it? Yes.
The Redskins started the quarter passing, but after an incompletion on the first play of the drive, handed the ball off to running back Clarence Harmon, who ran it 8 yards. Needing just 2 yards for the first down, Theismann passed to tight end Don Warren, who caught the ball at the Miami 35-yard line for a first down, before sending Riggins back out to run the ball, where he picked up 20 yards on 4 consecutive rushing plays to end the quarter. The second quarter started off with Washington at the Dolphins' 15-yard line. On 3rd and 3, Riggins ran the ball again, but getting just a yard, coach Joe Gibbs opted to take the field goal, which kicker Mark Mosley nailed from 31 yards out to put Washington on the board and cut Miami's lead to 7-3. The Dolphins started their next drive by taking Jeff Hayes' kick back 42 yards to the 47-yard line. Running back Tony Nathan ran for 11 yards on 2 carries, and Andre Franklin added 1 yard, before a 7-yard pass from Woodley to wide receiver Duriel Harris. Franklin had a 4-yard run called back due to an offsides penalty, but on 2nd and 1, Franklin ran for 2 yards for the first down, and then ran 2 more to make it 2nd and 6 at the 6-yard line. Unfortunately for Miami, after Woodley ran it for 3 yards, he threw an incomplete pass, and the Dolphins settled for a field goal, increasing their lead to 10-3. The Redskins took charge on offense the next drive, and came out swinging when Theismann hurled a 27-yard pass to tight end Rick Walker on the first play of the drive. Walker ran it for 6 yards, and then John Riggins ran for 3 more to bring the ball to the Dolphins' 44-yard line. On 3rd and 1, Riggins got the yard he so desperately needed to keep the drive going. Theismann then threw a 4-yard pass to wide receiver Charlie Brown, and followed that up with a 15-yard pass to Riggins. Despite the Redskins losing a yard on a bad running play, Theismann took the ball 12 yards on a run to the Dolphins' 13-yard line, and Riggins ran it 9 more on the next 2 plays. Facing a 3rd and 1, Theismann passed to receiver Alvin Garrett for 4 yards to give the Redskins a touchdown and tie the game at 10.
And Theismann to throw to Garrett. Touchdown!
It's a chance for you to look at. Look how quickly he throws that football. Arches it up and over the top.
But the Dolphins struck back hard and quickly. On the ensuing kickoff, Fulton Walker returned Jeff Hayes' kick 98 yards for a touchdown, and Miami had taken a 16-10 lead.
Fulton Walker, the deep man for Miami. He had a 42-yard kickoff return the last time. From the 2. 20, he's in the open again. 30, 40, he's going to go all the way for a touchdown. 98 yards, Fulton Walker.
After getting the ball back, the Redskins rushed for 17 yards before Theismann threw to tight end Don Warren for a 4-yard gain. After a Dolphins penalty for pass interference, Theismann ended the quarter by throwing a 26-yard pass to Charlie Brown and a 9-yard pass to Alvin Garrett. The third quarter started poorly for Washington. After the kickoff, running back John Riggins lost a yard on his first carry, and Theismann was sacked by nose tackle Bob Baumhauer for a 9-yard loss. Theismann's pass on 3rd and 20 was incomplete, and the Redskins were forced to punt. But the Dolphins didn't fare any better, and punted to end their next drive. At his own 36, Theismann threw a 7-yard pass to Warren, and Riggins ran it for 4 on the next play. Theismann handed the ball off to running back Alvin Garrett on the next play, and he broke through in a big way, rushing for 44 yards, all the way down to the Dolphins' 9-yard line.
And a runner like John Riggins.
First down from the Redskin 47. Here's a reverse. Alvin Garrett, he's got running room. 40, 30, one man to beat. Small gets him out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
After a 2-yard run from Riggins and a 4-yard pass to Warren, Theismann threw an incomplete pass on 3rd and 3 to force a field goal, and the Dolphins' lead was cut to 16-13. A poor passing game crippled both teams in their next drives. Woodley threw 2 incompletions before a punt, and after getting 4 yards from Riggins, Joe Theismann threw a costly incompletion on 3rd and 6 to force a punt. Miami couldn't get anything done on their next drive, and Theismann threw an interception on the first play of Washington's next drive.
Theismann over the middle. Intercepted by Dewey. A.J. Dewey. That's 4 for him.
But on 2nd and 2, David Woodley threw a pick of his own.
Woodley to Cephalo. Intercepted by the Redskins' Murphy at the 5-yard line.
Washington took the ball from their own 5-yard line up to their 32 before time ran out in the 3rd quarter. Both teams traded punts to start the 4th quarter before Washington found its ground game again. At their own 48, John Riggins took the ball 18 yards on 2 plays before a 1-yard run from Clarence Harmon. It didn't look great for Washington on 4th and 1 at the 43. But Theismann handed the ball to Riggins, and he took it 43 yards to the house to take a 20-16 lead, their first lead of the game.
Riggins. He's going to go all the way, unless Blackwood can catch him, and he can't.
With 10:01 remaining in the game, Miami needed to score on their next drive. But despite getting 18 yards rushing on the drive, A 5-yard false start penalty and an incompletion sunk the Dolphins' hopes of a comeback. Knowing they had to run out the clock, the Redskins' first 8 plays of their next drive were rushing plays, and Riggins picked up 18 yards. With 3 minutes 53 seconds to go, Washington finally called a passing play, and Joe Theismann threw a 9-yard pass to Charlie Brown. On 1st and 9, Riggins ran for 3 yards before Theismann passed to Brown again for a 6-yard touchdown, giving the Redskins a 27-16 lead.
Theismann. Will he run it? No. He throws it for a touchdown. Charlie Brown.
Any hopes Miami had of a comeback were officially squashed when quarterback Don Strock threw 3 incompletions to end the game, giving Washington a 27-17 victory.
Looking for a play that will keep the ball in Miami's grasp. He doesn't get it, and that'll do it. Now for the Redskins, they need to only consume a minute and 12 seconds.
Running back John Riggins was named Super Bowl MVP after rushing for a then-record 166 yards on 38 attempts. He became the first NFC player to rush for over 100 yards in the Super Bowl. Counting his 15-yard reception, Riggins had more yards than the entire Dolphins offense.
Triumphant, giving our capital its first Super Bowl championship.
Thank you very much, Pete. Thanks indeed. Now, there's a few things I'd like to have answered. Do we keep this?
You do.
Forever.
Forever.
This is ours. Second, you said we had the best record in the NFC. My dear Pete, we've had the best record in the NFL.
All right.
Hail to the Redskins!
Redskins running back John Riggins, wide receiver Art Monk, guard Russ Grimm, head coach Joe Gibbs, and general manager Bobby Beathard were all inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, as were Dolphins head coach Don Shula and center Dwight Stevenson. That'll wrap up this episode of Kordziel Krunch. Join me next week when I take a look at another iconic moment in sports history. For Kordziel Krunch, I'm Ryan Kordziel. Thanks for listening.
Kordziel Krunch.
With Ryan Kordziel.
Ryan Kordziel. Crunch time.